cuts.
The
Budget cuts on the podcast.
you didn't pay me this week, so I got a Gatorade instead of the kombucha.
And not even a sugar-free Gatorade. You're going old
No,
school. How many grams of sugar is in that bottle of Gatorade? I want to
let me
say,
see.
I'm gonna
It
guess
says
60 grams.
mind your business, Raheel. Oh,
No, what is it for real? What is it? That's a 32 ounce or a 16 ounce or
it
18 ounce?
is a 20 ounce.
Okay, 20 ounce. Sorry.
Do you want to guess again? Now that you
Uh,
know the proper amount of liquid in
30,
here.
32 grams of sugar.
Close. 34.
34. Okay. I thought it was a 32 ounce. That's why. Hi, everybody. Welcome in to the Raheel Show podcast with Jose Partida. We are live. We will take your questions if you are watching live. And if you're listening on the audio side, thank you so much. The numbers have been going up, so I appreciate that. I know you guys have plenty of things to go listen and select from. So when you guys listen to us, it really does mean the world. So thank you so much. And if you have listened to this podcast, you know that we are proudly sponsored by AlamoRemedy.com. Use promo code
Unicorn.
Unicorn for 10% off their already low CBD prices. 250 milligrams of CBD for just $17.99. You can't beat that price. It is for Texans by Texans. It is a Texas company employing a lot of Texans, and they are awesome. I've been using their cream a lot on my back, man. It's just been flaming up a little bit. So I've been using that cream. I've been doing my yoga almost every week. That's been helping my lower back pain. So go check it out, man. They are great. They also have the tincture. So if you like the oil, if you like the capsules or it's pre-dosed for you or the gummies, great product. And they also have hemp flower. They're one of the few companies in Texas that has hemp flower available for purchase at just $19.99. But if you buy two of them, they'll drop it down to $17.99, and you can use that promo code Unicorn to do it. And remember, every time you purchase with Unicorn, guess what happens? We do get a little bit of that sale. So you are helping this podcast grow with promo code Unicorn, AlamoRemedy.com. And brought to you by the sugar monster that is Gatorade. That's one of the man, if you cut sugars out of your life, you will be so much healthier instantly. You just take sugar out, because I've measured this. It's not about carbs. It's not about calories. It's not about grams of fat. To me, it comes down to sugar. You take that sugar out, man, you're just going to feel better. You will drop weight as well.
Do
And
you
Jose,
know
what
why
are you
I'm
doing?
drinking Gatorade?
Why? Are you dehydrated?
I don't think I've even told you this.
What happened?
I had food poisoning last week.
Uh-oh. Last week. What happened?
On Thursday and Friday, I felt like death.
Uh-oh. Who you throwing shade at? Who was the company? Who did it to you?
No, nobody. Frankly, I don't even know like what I ate exactly that made me so sick. But I was out of it Thursday and
You
Friday.
couldn't contact trace your food poisoning?
I couldn't. Much like the White House, I didn't do a very good job contact tracing.
Did you roll into a place and they're like, food poisoning? Yo, if you don't got COVID-19 or the flu, please get out of here. We don't need you. We don't need you taking up bed space here. So food poisoning, man.
No, it's not Chipotle.
No.
I hate Chipotle.
Oh, man. Chipotle bangs after you play 2 hours of basketball. It's the perfect meal.
No.
Although, after I played flag football the other day, Mod Pizza, man, slaps.
Mod Pizza is actually where I had my last instance of food poisoning. But
no.
But that was do you remember the tax day flood? There was a stomach bug going around.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It just so
wasn't
happened.
Mod Pizza.
No, it just so happened it was on the day that I had Mod Pizza.
Dude, Mod Pizza is the best value in
so
fast
fire.
casual. It's so good. It's under $10. After you tip everything, 15% tip, and you walk away, I think it's like $10.31. And you will eat. I mean, I was stuffed, man. It is my favorite. They're like, oh, you want some more? Yeah, I want some more beef. Yeah, I want some more chicken. Yeah, I want some more of that. Yes, absolutely. And let me get 3 little containers of sauce to go, because that spicy honey slaps hard. That's why.
Ooh.
They have spicy honey on there.
Ooh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh, yeah. You get that sriracha. You get some spicy honey. Pizza Hut used to do a sriracha honey, and they stopped that. And that was one of the best things. You could eat that pizza with that honey on it, but They stopped that. So, anyways, Mod has it. There's a little free commercial for Mod Pizza. They're cool.
Does that first off, hashtag ad, does that imposter sauce company make that?
Which one?
There's a sauce company. I actually buy their imitation Chick-fil-A sauce. They sell that at HEB. It's a company that just makes it's like secret recipe like sauces. And the HEB that I go to has the Big Mac sauce, the HEB Chick-fil-A sauce, and the Zaxby's dipping sauce.
Yo, who goes to Zaxby's? Because we shared something about Zaxby's, like they enter the chicken sandwich game like a year later.
Yeah, and it's only in Kentucky, I think. I mean, we don't really have Zaxby's here,
there's one in Sugar Land. I see it, but I've never. I'm like, if I want fried chicken fingers, I'll just go to the Goat. I'll go to Raising Cane's. Yeah, I mean, where else are you gonna go though for?
I'll go to
fingers?
Lane's.
But where's the
original chicken sandwich?
You gonna drive to College Station?
Yeah, the original chicken strip place.
Hold on. So when you're in Sugar Land, you're like, I want some chicken fingers. You're gonna drive to College Station? I would have accepted Whataburger, but Whataburger's chicken fingers aren't that good. It's just all breading.
Sammy says there's a Zaxby's in North Houston. I'm in North Houston. I don't think I've ever seen. Actually, is it? No, I don't know. I'd have to look into that. There isn't one around me. Is what I'm getting at.
Is there still a White Castle in North Houston? I know they opened one.
Oh God, no, I don't think so.
Man, that slaps so hard. It's so good.
I've never had that.
So we were gonna start with. I mean, we just did 7 minutes on what we've been eating.
So yeah,
I love this
I'm
show.
drinking Gatorade because I have a bunch left over after puking my guts out for 2 days, and not just puking my guts out, but I'm.
So you're healthy now, though. You're good now.
I'm all right.
Okay, you're good now.
Saturday was probably the last interesting day where. Like my stomach just was upset every time I would eat. Not to the point that I would like have to go poop or barf, but like my stomach would feel kind of like groggy. But I'm good. I'm
so
fine
then
now.
Why are you still drinking this Gatorade?
I just told you
sugar.
I just told you there's a bunch left over. I got to put it to good use. I wanted something sweet. I didn't feel like drinking a kombucha, so I grabbed a Gatorade.
Terrible. Can I offer a health challenge to you? Because this actually lines up with one of the things I wanted to talk about. We are going to talk about on the show today Borat 2 and Borat 1. Wow. Dude, it's so ridiculous. I loved it. Okay, we'll talk about that. Joe Rogan experience with Kanye West, probably the biggest letdown of the year. And I'm talking about like the entire year of 2020. We also have to talk about Dave Chappelle and his wisdom. I mean, it's just incredible. He was on Letterman's my next guest show on Netflix, so definitely watch that. But we'll talk about all these things, and then what else? We got to talk about the New York Times interview as well with Sacha Baron Cohen. It was awesome. He is becoming the voice of reason, which I love because he is so smart. And we had one more thing we got to talk about.
You wanted to talk about music in the fall.
Yes.
And what is the ultimate fall music?
Okay, so we'll do that as well. Here's a question. I'll put it up here so the people can see. Who is the ultimate fall music artist? Ultimate fall music artist. And the reason I brought this up was because I tweeted my it's cold enough to listen to Bon Iver now. So people, everyone like only the hipsters get that joke, but who is the ultimate fall music artist? So think about that. Let that one marinate. So, yeah, marinate.
I would say marinate.
But wouldn't it be a marinade? Ooh, but it's marinating.
Isn't a marinade the mix that you marinate?
It is, yeah. The actual act of marination would be the marinate. You're right. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to offer you a health challenge to everyone that's listening. Movember is coming up next month. And as you know, I was part of their global campaign last year. Because of COVID-19, they're going to reuse that campaign again. So get ready with pictures from all over the world. I'm going to be sharing those. And I know it kind of gets annoying, guys, but it's so cool to me still. And one of the things that they're doing this year, and this year, I don't think I'm going to go like hard stash this year. I'm going to grow into it. But one of the things that they are really pushing this year, especially because everyone has a time, is the move for Movember. So you got 60 miles to complete in Movember, whether you run it, walk it, play it. You just got to complete 60 miles. And the way you track it is off your Apple Watch. If you got a Fitbit on your phone, whatever, you track it on your own manually. But you have to commit to 60 miles and then also raise funds. And you can join my team and we can all raise funds together that will benefit men's mental health and men's physical health. And by the way, the reason it's 60 miles for the month is because 60 men commit suicide every hour. So it's bringing awareness to men's mental health, some of the problems that men face in their lives, and how we can solve it, right? Because all this money that we raise will go to help charities that focus on these things. So join me in doing your 60 miles. Sign up on my team. The link is in the bio of this episode, of this podcast, of this tweet, because I'm going to share it as well on Twitter. So definitely do that. So Jose, I'm challenging you. You always say you're going to get healthier. You're always going to move. I'm challenging you to 60 miles for November.
That's 3 miles for 20 days and with 10 days to spare.
Yeah, if you want to do that, or you can do 2 miles every day.
No,
or you can
don't push it. Don't push it.
Maybe you do 3 half marathons if you want to do it. I don't know. I mean, or how many would it be? 26.2, right? So maybe it's just doing 3 marathons.
Come on,
I don't know.
Don't make me do math.
I don't know what you want to do. How you do the 60, Jose, it's up to you. But will you commit to it and get healthier?
Let's do it.
Okay, you're in.
I'm in.
I love it.
I'll keep track on my Nike Run app if that's allowed.
Yeah, anything. You track it the way you want, man. Any way you want. So make sure you track it and make sure you join the team, and we're all going to raise funds together. There's a team. It's the Raheel team. You can also look it up on Movember and just look up my team. You'll find it. It's on all my social media. You'll find it easily. And we're going to have some fun with it, okay? So I'm going to be doing the 60 miles. I'm going to be doing a light mustache because I got TV stuff. I don't know how. I'm going to talk about it on the sportscast, but I don't know how much they want me with a handlebar mustache.
Are you going to have to do makeup? Are you going to have to try to cover it up?
No. I'm just going to I'm going to clean shave on the 1st, and then I'm going to let it grow into the mustache. So by the end of November, it'll be thick. It'll be like, let me see. And I think for Saturday to dress up for Halloween, I think I'm going to do Tiger King. Is it played out?
Yeah, I would say so. It's played out.
I don't know what else to dress up as. It's either that or I'm going to do Aladdin again. I've already done Aladdin, but my daughter's going as Jasmine. She's going as Jasmine this year.
Oh, okay. Why don't you do Genie this year?
It's too much makeup. I don't want to do the blue, and then it's too much work. Aladdin's easy.
You don't want to blue yourself?
No, I don't want to blue myself.
All right, okay. Good Arrested Development.
I'm not doing Borat, no, because I think everyone's gonna be doing that again. It's like college all over again.
Or you could be Borat and I'll be your daughter.
Oh no! Just don't do the dance, the Moonblood dance, please.
Jesus.
Okay, Adrian's in for 60. He says he's gonna be biking it. Okay, Adrian, if you're gonna be biking it, let's double that number.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're gonna be biking it, I know you can do 120 miles. That's easy for you, bro. Sammy's in. My man Sammy's been on this health journey for so long already. So Sammy, this is gonna be light work for you. That's nothing. So if you want to do it, again, it's in the bio of this episode. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, I don't think you'll be able to access it, but just ask me. I'll send it to you. Or just go to Movember.com. Look up teams. You'll find it. It's not that hard. All right. So I just want to get that out of the way. And I will be sharing this on Twitter. So for those of you who want to sign a little bit later, you definitely do that. You want to do the easy question first, the fall music question before we go deep into Borat, because it's so ridiculous. What do you want to do? I'm going to let you guide this.
Yeah, let's do the fall music because we've got a couple in here already. Okay. And we could come back to it at the end of the show if we want to.
Yeah, so start thinking about it. Who is the ultimate fall music artist? Somebody that just is built for this weather, right? Kind of hot, kind of cold, kind of gloomy, kind of dark, but also uplifting yet sad. Like that's just what this music is. I don't think I'm going to be beaten on my selection of Bon Iver or Bon Iver, all right? Because I think he is the ultimate fall music, but where my pick falls apart is he might be deep winter music.
Oh, no. Yeah.
That's my
I think
issue.
that's fair.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
he is deep winter.
what's that album he made before that popular one where he literally locked himself in a cabin
Mm-hmm.
for a winter? I don't know his albums by name. I don't listen to him that much.
I'll pull it up here. I have it saved because I was listening to it the other day. That's why. It was yesterday. I was sitting on my patio just listening, or my porch, just listening to Bon Iver, and it was just perfect.
You sent me that video, and I think my argument stands. I did not see Bane wagging his tail, so I'm not sure it was a really good jam session or not.
No, my dude Bane always sits with me to listen to music. He heard that and he's like, all right, I'm out. He's like, this is too sad for me.
Oh, you're going through it.
Yeah. For Emma Forever Ago.
Forever Ago, yeah.
Dude, that album, I still think that's his best album.
Partially recorded at a cabin in Wisconsin woods is what the bio starts with on Apple Music. So the self-titled album was obviously where he crossed over, and where Kanye and him became buddies.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it might be Deep Winter, like you suggested.
Yeah, that's like super. You gotta have at least 4 inches of snow, so that could be a reason. But Denver's getting 4 inches of snow right now, so I don't know. I don't know. Here's some of the nominations coming in. Here is from Greg. He says The Weeknd. His nickname is the King of the Fall.
Is it?
I didn't know that. Maybe his earlier stuff, because his new stuff it's like spring music, because it puts you in a good mood. You're ready to go. It's a dance.
That's the thing, because Sammy's made a couple good points, like early Drake and early Kanye. I think were good fall artists, but they're not anymore. Mm-mm. It's hard to consistently stay in that lane, right?
Yeah, that's tough.
Because one of my favorite artists, James Blake, was that way as well, and that was my response to your meme joke. I busted out to James Blake, but his last album was really poppy. Not to say that it was bad, but it was my man's in love now, so he made a poppy love album. So it's hard to stay in that lane.
Yeah, there's also more money when you can make music for all.
Yeah, and
seasons.
He's totally crossed over. He has a Cadillac commercial now, which is wild. Yes.
Oh, which one?
I don't know if I've seen it on TV, but he put it on his Instagram.
Wait,
it's the new Escalade. Yeah, he narrates it and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Sufjan Stevens is a good one, but I think Sufjan Stevens is also he makes music for every season, so you would have because he makes he has great summer music as well, so that's tough. And I mean, great folk music goes any time of the year, so that's tough. Owl City, I don't know enough Owl City songs to put them in my fall catalog, but let's see. October's Finest, Drake, Back in the Day. Yeah, that is a good one.
That's a good one.
He's literally for October. Strawberry Fields Forever by the Beatles. Yep, that's a great fall vibe. But I need, is there an artist left that is simply for the fall?
I feel like it is, and we just are just like missing, like it's totally going through over our heads.
Mm-hmm.
It just has to be. Yeah. There has to be one.
There has to be a dude who's just built for this, or a woman that's built for the fall. It's like just the perfect amount of cold, but not hot enough either. So definitely, if you have any more as you listen to the rest of the show, please do send them in, because I'm curious.
You're trying to get in the fall mood?
I'm just trying to get into it, right? I just want to get nice and cozy in this 85-degree weather. Although it's about to drop. My wife is saying it's getting cold.
Yeah, you see how we just missed the cold front?
Yeah, it got right to the edge. Right? It was about an hour away, and then that was it. Let's see. Angel says Mariah Carey is milking that Christmas album till this day, but that's Christmas. That's not fall. That's winter.
Yeah. Sammy mentions Michael Bublé as well.
Ooh.
Paramore?
I don't know.
That actually kind of makes sense. I don't know why that kind of makes sense.
Okay, Paramore, I always think of Dell because he loves Paramore. And Dell is a walking fall. Like, he's just the season of fall, right?
Yeah.
Kind of gloomy, but still kind of happy.
Kind of irritated.
But still okay with life. He's not deep winter yet, but he's not summer. He's definitely not summer. So, yeah, I think Paramore would be good, I guess, because of Dell.
That's actually not a bad one.
So here are the seasons, right? Musically, here are the seasons. It starts in the beginning of the year with deep winter. Like it's cold, it's dark, there's no hope. And then you got your spring music, all right? Like, okay, we're getting out of this. We're good. We're good. Then you got your summer. You get your top 40 usually takes over for the summer. And then you've got this category of fall and then winter. And I think that winter and Christmas are probably the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, when you sent me this question, I was thinking more of what is it, what does that sort of music sound like? And I could think of like ways to categorize that, but like just pick one artist that's always in that lane is hard.
Who are some of the songs, or what are some of the songs that you had in some of the suggestions you had album wise? Because you were telling me before you did think of it.
Yeah, I had James Blake's second album, Overgrown. That's totally fall vibes. In fact, there's a song that the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan raps on, and it's the beat is like raindrops for most of it. Like it's raindrops with like a bass on it. Is essentially what RZA raps over, and it's a song about losing love, and like the girl he was in love with is about to get married or whatever. And then there's another album that I thought of was actually an album recommended by our buddy Mike Liebeshock, good old Shock, who we haven't had on here actually.
Yeah, we
now
haven't.
that it's the Chicago saxophonist named Zen Morimoto, who's like he like raps over jazz beats, and they're really good. So when I was thinking through these, I was like, okay, so it's stuff with like heavy instrumentation or just instruments that you don't hear during the summer, or stuff that just is really different in the sense of the audio is just slaps you in the face. Essentially, I guess is what I'm getting at, and that's what a lot of older James Blake stuff was.
Justin says, I'm boycotting the show until you guys get Dell on the show.
Well, I guess you're never coming back.
Never come back. Dell's banned on the show. He's not allowed back anymore.
Oh, he is?
No.
I didn't know that. I just feel like the thought of me being like, hey, Dell, you want to come on the podcast at 8 p.m. at night where we just literally talk about nothing? That just doesn't seem like something he'd be down for.
I texted Dell the other day because after I voted, I put out, I put up that post where I was just reminiscing about why I love to vote and all that stuff. And some guy commented, he's like, maybe next time you should thank a native black guy, right? Did you say native? And I was like, huh, okay. And then I was like, let me text Dell. I was like, hey, Dell, this guy told me to thank you. And he goes, about time. Dell being Dell. Here's the actual tweet. Somebody just said, oh, here it is. So I tweeted this. To some, it's just a right they were born with. To me and millions others, it's a right I had to earn after living here for 17 years. I'll never take voting for granted because it reminds me of all the sacrifices my parents had to make for us to become citizens. And so this guy on Twitter responded with, thank the next natural-born black American you see.
Yeah, that was a little much.
Said, thanks, Dell.
You should have tweeted that. I was trying to encourage
I wanted
you to
but that. No, I didn't want the
hashtag the brand.
Yeah, I didn't want to deal with even one person getting upset about that. So I was like, forget it. I'll just send it to Dell and have fun with him. And he said, yeah, about time. So stupid.
Sounds about Dell.
Okay,
so before we move on, again, who is the ultimate fall music artist? Sammy makes probably the best point, and it's an album I should have thought of. Childish Gambino's, I guess, major debut album, Camp. Mm-hmm. It's based on a summer camp, but it's a fall gloomy album. Hell yeah, that's better than both of the ones I suggested.
LES is probably the best hip hop fall song in my opinion. The music, the lyrics,
the strings are beautiful.
The strings. LES might be the ultimate fall hip hop song. A
lot of that album has aged pretty bad. Like a lot of the rapping is really cringe in retrospect, and just like how music has changed, and frankly how his music has changed in such a, I was gonna say in such quick amount of time, but it's been what 10 years since that album came out. I think they came out in 2013 or 2012. Yeah, Camp is probably the best thing that's been suggested in my opinion.
Sammy had the best. Sammy did bring up 808 and Heartbreaks.
Oh yeah, I mean that goes without saying.
Yeah, I think that is a great fall album, but I think we run into that whole thing. It could be a deep winter album.
It comes. It's at like the borderline of the crunchy leaves and the 4 feet of snow. It's just too close to the border of those two.
I mean, there's the best song on that album is "Coldest Winter."
Ooh, I don't know
So
about that.
what's the best song on 808 Heartbreak?
Streetlights.
No way.
Yeah, Streetlights is my favorite.
I think "Coldest Winter" is a top 5 Kanye song. Period.
I think Streetlights is a top 5 Kanye song.
Wow. So this is where the podcast is finally over, Jose.
Y'all be easy.
Okay, long as we did, long as we didn't say amazing, because that was the worst song on the whole thing.
God, Young Jeezy. Was he still going as Young Jeezy at that point?
Yeah, he's still
The
Young
verse is
Jeezy.
so terrible.
Yeah.
That verse is so trash.
Yeah. Streetlights is a good song, though. I will give you that. Streetlights is great. But Coldest Winter, man. Ooh. Okay.
I'm standing at a podium trying to watch my sodium. Is that actual lines that were uttered on that album, on that song? What
Young
the hell does
Jeezy.
that even mean?
I don't know. Nobody knows. That's why it's provocative. That's why it gets the people going. Okay, so send us your takes on, or your tweets and your messages on the ultimate fall music artist. Okay, let's get to the reason we're doing this show. Pretty much is because Borat 2 is out. Our man Adrian, who was listening, who went and got faded up by the same lady I went to, because he messaged me, he texted me, he's like, "Hey, where'd you go?" And I said, "Oh, I just went to this place right by our house." He lives he lives near me now. And he went and got faded up. So shout out to Adrian. And I guess I need to get that company on the podcast because we got them a client. But he left the show to go watch Borat 2 because he wants to go watch it. So you, my friend, watched Borat 1 for the first time ever yesterday because you were so excited about Borat 2.
Correct.
Why were you excited about Borat 2, first of all, if you hadn't seen Borat 1?
The COVID-19 stuff and the Rudy Giuliani thing were just too perfect for me not to be excited about them. And so I decided yesterday, I knew we were going to talk about Borat and I knew we were going to talk about the Letterman Chappelle interview. I decided I needed to watch some of these things. So I decided, let me just watch the first Borat. Maybe I'll get to Borat 2 before the show today. So I watched the first one and it was so damn absurd. I decided to just watch the second one, and I just went back to back. Okay,
before I get your opinions on both movies, before yesterday, what did you know about Borat? Like, you've obviously seen clips of him. You obviously know him because he's part of the lexicon. He's part of the culture. He's part of the internet, right? But what did you know about Borat before yesterday, before you really watched the movies?
I didn't really know much. I knew it was social commentary. Mm-hmm. I knew it was supposed to push like the boundaries, sort of like how Nathan Fielder pushes stuff on Nathan For You. I didn't realize it was like to the 10th degree. Like if Nathan For You is right here, Sacha Baron Cohen is up here. Like you can't even see the bar that Sacha Baron Cohen puts up on Borat, on the first Borat. I was blindsided by just the cringe factor of everything. And it was an interesting time for it, right? Because it was a couple years after 9/11. The war in the Middle East is happening. It's in full effect. And it's just at the turn of, I don't think was MySpace around at that point. Like
it was
the internet was becoming a thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was still early. MySpace was around. Facebook wasn't mainstream yet. Facebook was around, but Facebook did. Yeah, it was still really early. I
thought it was the most absurd thing I've seen in such a long time. Like,
so you've never even seen the Ali G show, right?
No, I frankly I didn't even know. I didn't know that's a show. I thought that was a movie. The Ali G thing.
No, the whole thing started with a sketch comedy show, pretty much, that Sacha Baron Cohen did when he was in the UK, then got picked up by HBO, and these are characters that were part of this sketch comedy. So imagine, Clayton Bigsby gets a movie, right? So that's how big it got. But Borat and Ali G were the first like viral moments that I remember with TV. and coming over, like it was a UK show. So yo, it was at the time, it was so funny because he would condense all of this social commentary in a 3-minute sketch or a 5-minute sketch, right? Like
Yeah.
he would go interview people about abortion as Ali G. Okay, just how ridiculous that sounds. I mean, I'll send you some. I mean, you can find all these yourself, and everyone that's listening, if you don't know the origins of it. When the movie came out and they really had time to like flush out all of this, everyone was curious, like, is it going to be acting? Is it going to be like just one long episode of this? And that's what it was. Like, that's how the TV show is too. They just set up ridiculous premises and then pull off these excellent social commentary bits. And it is so brilliant. So when Borat 1 hit, you were like, dude, this is perfection. They also did, Ali G did a long form, and then his other character, why am I blanking? Bruno.
Yeah.
Bruno was the one that was like, okay, there's no social commentary here. This is just, let's just see how ridiculous we can get. Okay. That's all it was. But yeah, I mean, like he took all these little bit characters and turned them into, $1 million movies, which is incredible. But Borat 1, let's start there. Your review of the movie, continue it on a ridiculous factor. The scene in the hotel room with him and his cameraman.
Oh, jeez.
Did you turn away watching that?
I fast forwarded through that. I just did not. I had no interest in watching that. I fast forwarded it until they're running in the hallways and they make their way to the convention center, where there's naked wrestling. I don't know. Was that staged? Like, how did that work? Because the Pamela Anderson thing was staged.
Yeah, that was staged.
I don't understand how that wasn't staged, or how they didn't end up in jail if it wasn't.
It's the same thing like he did with the Mike Pence thing. He just pulled it off. Like he waited. So the Mike Pence one, if you guys haven't watched Borat 2, we're going to spoil it because it's really not like a storyline that you need. Like you just watch it. It's still going to be as ridiculous if you watch it.
And if you paid attention to pop culture stuff throughout the year, you kind of knew about these events already.
Yeah. So like you knew what was happening. And well, I didn't know that the Trump stuff happened where he dressed up like President Trump just to run in on that. But he said he waited in the bathroom stall for 5 hours.
In full makeup, in full outfit.
Yeah. And then he ran out when it was time to go.
That's insane.
Dude, it's so nuts.
So to finish off on Borat 1 before we get into the second one, when he goes, I don't think I've laughed this hard at anything in a long time. When he's in Virginia and he goes up to the guys playing dice and he asks them how to talk like them, how to act like them, and they teach him how to sag his pants, and they see he has fishnet underwear, and that's the whole thing. After that, he immediately goes to a hotel and he's sagging his pants and he's talking in like the vernacular of a thug, of someone from the quote unquote the hood. Right? He drops an N-bomb and everything, and he gets kicked out of the hotel. I had to pause the movie. I couldn't stop laughing.
Man, that one was so stupid. Like it was so dumb when he did that. It was so like
between that and the dinner party, the dinner party scene was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Just the whole thing, right? Like him pulling it off, staying in character. It's brilliant. Him improvising, right? Because there's no set lines in any of this. This is all at the mercy of people saying ridiculous things, and Borat being able to pull this off, or Sacha Baron Cohen being able to pull this off and make a movie out of improv. Because that's what it is, right? You got your premise. They give you your topic. Hey, this is what you're going to do. And you just let it go, right? Like you don't know what the response is going to be. That movie was so damn good, man. It was perfect. It was such a stupid premise, but it was so good. And then he kind of disappears, right? Like we don't get many Borat mentions or clips or anything. He just disappears, and he works on other stuff. And then out of nowhere, you sent me this, that Borat 2 was being filmed. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Like, why? Why are they doing this? And it happened during COVID-19. So, like the country music star, that clip we saw, like everyone started tweeting it and sharing it. The day that came out, we had a conversation, me, you, and Josh, about it. Josh thought it was for that Showmax, that Showtime show that he did a couple years ago. I was just kind of like, what's the point of him doing this anyway? I didn't really understand what it was, and like between that and the Pence thing, like it was all kind of piecing together quietly. That's absurd. Like how in times like these, no one put it together until it was like right in our face that he was doing another Borat movie.
But that was like right away he talked about that social commentary of everybody knows who Borat is, right? Like he's one of the most recognizable characters in the world.
Right.
So how do you pull off Borat when everybody knows who you are? So I thought that was important. Like he showed that when he was trying to film, Borat, that he's gonna have to create this whole new identity, and there's a reason why he's dressing up differently and all this. Like it was so good, and it just showed you how dumb people are. Like, hey Borat, hey come here Borat, like the whole time instead of going, hey, are they filming a movie? Like what's happening over here, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think the other thing, the secret camera work, like how they do the camera work is brilliant, right?
Right.
Because people are on camera and they know, sometimes they know they're on camera and sometimes they don't. And they still get ridiculous moments, man. It is so good. So it was just perfect.
At the start of the movie, the fact that he's in costume and then puts on another costume.
Yeah.
So Sacha Baron Cohen is wearing the Borat costume, all the while Borat is wearing just another costume to blend in. So he's wearing two costumes.
Well, he was in the cabin. He was as Borat, right?
Right.
And then he's like, well, I'm going to put on a whole different costume to go perform as a country music artist. Like
anywhere he goes in public, he's in a second disguise.
Yeah. It's like, so stupid, but it's like, so good.
So what were your top cringe moments?
Okay, so my first question for you when we break down Borat 2 is, what was cringier to you? The Moonblood dance or the hotel room scene with him and his cameraman? Because I've asked this to everybody that's watched this. Which one was the cringiest scene?
Well, I fast forwarded through one of them and not the other, so I think that's my answer. The dance. I mean, not the dance. Excuse me. The naked wrestling.
Dude, the dance. I got uncomfortable. Okay, because when I first watched Borat when I was in college, I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. Like they're doing this on camera, it was so stupid. But the dance, man, it was the setup, the way they set up the atmosphere of the dance and the debutante dance and the people there, the premise of them being there, like these guys, one's a professor, like the dad was a professor, right? The daughters. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you read up on the bits at all? Like
not
since you
that
watched
one.
it?
I did read up on the bits of the other. Like,
do you want me to tell you what happened?
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that?
Tell me.
They were all hired extras, but they quizzed them for them to be able to recognize Sacha Baron Cohen, and the ones who couldn't were the ones that actually were in the scene. Oh. So they hired a bunch of extras, but they only picked the ones that when they took the survey before weren't able to recognize him.
So it wasn't like they just rolled up on some debutante dance.
No, that wasn't.
See, that is one thing, and I was going to bring this up. That is one thing about the Borat movies that gets kind of weird and like for the joke, right? Like they plan everything or edit things down where you think Borat's right there the whole time, but he's not. Or, the daughter's at this thing, but it was set up, right? Like the Republicans women thing. That wasn't a random meeting she just rolled up to, right? That had to have been set up. And then you take it and you just naturally go into what happens at those meetings. But it's not like, hey, I'm about to go get plastic surgery. Oh, look, I just see this random Republicans women well, it was like a conference that they were having, right? So that gets old sometimes.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Do you prefer the lines being blurred, or do you want the honest transparency with stuff like that?
Now I want the honest transparency. I do. I want as much like, hey, how real was this? And I think that is important to know. Back then, I wanted to, like when I was younger, I thought it was just the most brilliant thing ever. And I never wanted to learn about the bits. I just wanted to see the joke, see the fact that people are responding this way. And you know what? If it's real, it's real. It's not, okay, whatever. Now I look at it and I'm watching it with a different critical point of view, and I'm like, that can't be right. Like, there's no way it sets up that perfectly, right? So that stuff, like, I'm glad you told me that, because I could have sounded dumb the whole time. Like, man, that was so funny how he pulled that off. Well, because there were extras. That's why, and that's why nobody reacted. Now it makes sense. Like, if that was a real event, people would have stopped it, right?
Yeah, the only weird one of the only weird things from that whole thing was when he asks one of the dads, like, how much do you think my daughter's worth?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy tells him 500 or whatever, and then his daughter looks him in the eye, and gets right in her dad's face, and he's like, "That's so disgusting." That was so. I don't think there's any faking that.
Yeah, I'm not. No, what like,
that
but
was so
setting up
like
the events, right? Like,
that
I think
was
it's not as funny now because it was all extras, and they, even though they don't know what to expect, they're still getting paid, right? So it's different as opposed to rolling up on some southern mansion that it was just happened to be having this, right? So it's not as
yeah,
funny. So like the dinner party from the first one, that had to have been set up by the producers, right?
right.
You know, so like then it's not as funny, but the actual moments within the conversation, within the act is still funny. That doesn't take away from it. Um, so my cringiest moment was the Moonblood dance. Like I turned away, dude. It was too much. It was too much for me. Like it was bad. I think the most brilliant thing was the abortion bit.
Oh, I could not. That's up there in the from the best moments in both movies.
Mm-hmm.
That I could not stop laughing at that. That was the
Yeah,
highlight of the movie to me.
the way they pulled it off, the way they set it up, right? Because you're like, what, man? She really wants this cupcake, right? And like innocently eats this cupcake, and like, why are they going behind the garbage can? And then you get the payoff, and you're like, oh my god, this is incredible. This is so unbelievable. How do you even think of that?
So what I didn't understand, and I should have rewatched the scene, was it like a clinic with like a pastor?
Yeah,
Because they
that's
went to a clinic. It was
hmm
clearly a clinic, but the guy they were talking to was a pastor, which was a church official.
yeah. So it was, yeah. It looked like it was one of those, like religious run ones.
Hmm.
And that's what he's really good at. Like he'll go to these places and he'll put people on the clock pretty much. Like, hey, okay, why do you believe this? Like, let's talk this out right through this stupid character. And then you start learning like, oh, okay, maybe they don't know everything, right? Like
Yeah.
it's so perfect. The social commentary is so good. And then the COVID-19 stuff was just next level. How those two guys in the cabin didn't know Borat when they're on internet like sites or they're on conspiracy sites all day makes no sense to me.
The fact that he was with them for 5 days, which if you guys we've referenced it already, the interview Sacha Baron Cohen did in the New York Times was really 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 good, and that's where he talked about the fact he was with them for 5 days and how he wasn't there to embarrass them, but to show how these people aren't bad people. They're just really misinformed and they're fed a lot of
Mm-hmm.
misinformation and they eat it up, which was the whole that viral summit he participated in last year. That was the point of argument he was making, right? Like the big thing with that conversation was Facebook and Twitter are misinforming us, and why aren't we holding them accountable? That was a big thing with the speech he did at that summit,
Yep.
and that was just I would my only the only thing I didn't like from the movie is I wish we got more out of that because there was no way of gauging how long that took, how long he was actually with them if you don't read that interview.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say in that interview that he had to be in character for 5 days. Like the context to that I felt was necessary.
Also, how do they find them? I think that's important too. Like he did again, I don't think he just stumbled across that man
Yeah.
like the movie portrays, right? Like cuz you have to set it up, you have to sign, it's a movie, right? Like you have to do a lot of different things, a cameraman that's with you and all that. And I guess you could tell them, right? Like that's the brilliant of the character is that, hey, I'm a foreign journalist, so this guy with me is my cameraman that's from Kazakhstan, right? Like that
Right.
that makes sense, but still it gets kind of weird. You're like, hey, this guy's with me the whole time, and why is he filming if you're not filming a piece right now? Why is he just rolling footage of you working out in that underwear with the like
With the strap on.
with the strap on? It makes no sense. That was the dumb. That to me was like okay, this guy's gonna shoot him at some point. But those guys are so cool about it. Like,
Yeah.
whatever, it's not a big deal. Like, there's a guy doing squats with a strap on in underwear because he's a foreigner, right? Like, that's the assumption there. It's like, oh, that's just whatever.
And they don't say a thing to him.
Which is kind of nice, right? Like, they're being so kind to him that you
Yes.
don't want to make him feel out of place or
Right.
unwanted, right? Like, that was beautiful. But it was so uncomfortable still.
He orders them fleshlights.
Yeah. And that bit was so stupid. It's such a cheap pop, but it was so good.
It was so cheap. But
There's
yeah.
a lot of cheap pops in there, but it's still, that's the charm of these movies. Man, it was, I enjoyed it. I thought the Giuliani stuff at the end was kind of boring. Like, it wasn't as big of a smoking gun as people made it out to be. I wish they would have let him go a little bit longer in that room.
You wanted to see his piece?
No, I just want to see what because they still gave him enough time to where you could say, "Oh, I was just tucking my shirt in because she was getting my mic out," right?
Right.
Right.
But
so it gives you enough of an out, which you're like, I don't know, dude, but it still gives you that out. Let's see what happens.
I'm with you because we were led to believe it was worse than what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really think about it, like the fact he was like, he just went into her room, sat on her bed, is like touching her on her lower back, telling her to sit down and give him her information. That was weird. Like,
no, definitely it was weird.
It was really weird. But
it's weird, but it's not illegal, right?
No, it's not. And he also, at least in what we saw in the movie, I don't think at any point he knows that she's 15. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
How we were led to believe in the stories that came out after the, what do they call it? The media embargo, when you can finally talk about it if you saw an early screening. Like we were led to believe that he knew she was 15, when in reality, from what we saw in the movie, that wasn't really the case.
Well, when the clip first hit, I didn't even know her age. I just knew because the line that they left in there is like, she's too young for you.
She's too old for you.
Excuse me. That you're like, okay, there's something weird happening here. But I don't remember them saying her age in the clip that was on Twitter to promote it either.
I don't think
we'll have to go back and watch it.
I don't like that. I guess that's what I'm still curious about is, did they have to edit around that scene to keep it in the movie?
Yeah, there's a lot of editing. According to other reports, there was a lot of editing on that Giuliani scene. Like when he would come in, when he would go out, the questions that she was asking versus the answers, like it wasn't all one take. There was a lot of editing in there. Like somebody broke it down. I have to go back and read it, but there was a lot of clips that were just, it wasn't natural, right? So, and I'll go back and watch it too, because that whole part I was like waiting for a laugh and just never got funny either.
No.
Yeah, the payoff wasn't that good.
No, I'm with you. And it kind of sucks that was kind of like the journey of the movie, right? Mm-hmm. To get to that point, and the thing with Pence at the beginning was way funnier than that.
Yeah, like if they would have ended with that, I would have laughed my ass off.
Like, and I think that's kind of changes our perception of it. And ultimately, we're gonna get to what happens at the very end. But I feel like if those were flopped, I feel like we probably have a different perception of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe sometimes it's not the destination, right? It's the journey.
It's the journey along the way.
It's the journey that you make the memories and have a great time and laugh about in hindsight.
You're such a damn phony. So how did you feel, before we move off the movie, how did you feel about the extra stuff at the end where he goes back to Kazakhstan and we find out he's patient zero, and Tom Hanks cameo and the running of the Yankee?
If South Park hadn't done the pandemic special, it would have been funnier.
But Sasha didn't know the pandemic special was coming.
I know, but I'm just saying. Look, people that are going to watch South Park are more than likely to watch Borat too. So unfortunately, that joke got ruined, right? Because the pandemic special was the whole thing was Randy Marsh was patient zero, right? COVID-19 patient zero, and that joke, unfortunately, it's not his fault. It's not SBC's fault. It's just the joke that had already been done a month before. So it wasn't as funny to me. But if
No,
that was
I'm
the
with
first
you.
time, I would have been like, "Oh my god, that's hilarious! That's a great premise."
I did enjoy it, but I didn't audibly laugh at it.
Yeah, I didn't laugh.
But
I
I
didn't
did
laugh.
I did laugh at the running of the Yankee where they kill Fauci.
Yeah,
I did laugh at that unfortunate thing.
the sneezing in people's faces, that was stupid. That was pretty dumb. Yeah, it was like it was good. The moments were good. I know a few people that didn't finish it. They're like, it wasn't funny at some point. I'm like, I see that. Towards the
No,
end, you're like, it's like, I'm just gonna finish it now because I want to. But I know a few people that ejected. They're like, I'm good.
I think it peaks probably around the abortion thing,
Yeah,
and it doesn't. It's still I still enjoyed it and I still found it funny, but I don't think there was a funnier moment, and that was
yeah.
early on in the movie.
The Jewish bit when they went to the
That was
synagogue.
really sweet.
That
We
was
almost
that was a good that was like a good humanity bit, right? Because he went in there with that stupid costume on, and that lady
oh
was
my
just
goodness,
and that's why they put. But see, that's why they show these moments, right? Like,
yeah.
hey, look, people are really nice still, and people aren't gonna give in to like dumb stuff. And that lady was so sweet. It was such a good moment, right? So like, you got to leave that in there. That was a nice little thing.
Do you want some context to that? Because I read up on the whole movie.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me.
So she passed away after that,
Oh no.
and her estate tried to sue because they thought that Sasha misled her. What he did is in the extras or whatever Amazon is calling it. It's like the X-ray version. He left unedited their whole conversation in one of the extras, and I think it was Vulture. Vulture had a report. There isn't a clip of this, but Vulture had a report that he broke character to explain to her what he was doing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and he credits her. He credits her in the movie, and he, with the help of other family members, started a website for her. I think for Holocaust awareness. I think it was.
Oh, that's good.
With her name on it. It wasn't the family that's suing him. It was some of her other family members.
Oh, that's
So
good.
yeah, that's the
I
thing.
didn't know.
He's
I'm
getting
glad you
sued.
told me that. That's really good. Man, that was so stupid. The moment he walked in is like, oh my gosh, are we really doing this? Yep, we're really doing this. Nabil says, did Borat 2 prove that comedy sequels never live up to the hype of the original? I don't know. I mean, I thought it lived up to the hype because even Borat 1 at towards the end, you're like, okay, like even like when Pamela Anderson comes in, you're like, okay, this is kind of getting dumb now. Right? Like you just watched it most recently.
Pamela, I no longer have feelings for you. Nah. That was the thing.
Did part 1 get boring to you after a while?
No,
Like no.
I enjoyed all
Okay.
of part. I loved
Okay.
part 1.
All right, then I stand corrected.
No, but I agree with that, but I don't think. In some instances, it's like, wow, the sequel freaking sucked. Like that was a waste of time. They didn't need to do a sequel. I thought the sequel wasn't maybe necessary, but this was the perfect time to do a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
If there ever was a perfect time to do a sequel, it was now.
Yeah. Get close to the mic real quickly.
Sorry, and it just so happens that it was during a pandemic as well, but it was always going to be about the election, the 2020 election.
So some of the social commentary on America, you haven't watched it yet, and we referenced it. This is America, his show that he did with Showtime. Some of the social commentary from this movie was already done in This Is America, and that's like totally different characters. It's so ridiculous. It's so good. It's laugh out loud, but there's a lot of social commentary in there as well. So that was another thing. That's why, like, I'm glad it was on Amazon Prime because if it was in the movie theaters, I don't think it would have done that great. You know, like it's good that it just came out. It almost felt like an hour comedy special.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, you know, like it was a pandemic special, not to bite South Park. So overall, I would say watch it, recommend it for a good laugh.
Thumbs up.
I watched it. My wife was laying on the couch watching it.
Oh
and she's
no!
Just like, She's like, why? Why are you watching this? And I'm like, because it's Borat. And she goes, yeah, but you couldn't have waited to watch this later. I was like, nope. It was good though. It was good. Okay, the other thing that I want to talk about real quickly, I did finish F is for Family. Really good ending to season 4. I wiped through those. It was so good. Watch it. Let me know what you guys think of it. I'm not gonna do a big breakdown of it. Although there's some characters in there that I wish this show was more mainstream because, man, we need some of these references on Twitter. Like Bob Pogo, the fat dude. We need more references of him.
It does go. Why does it go so under the radar? Like it's not really talked about on social media.
I don't know. And Bill Burr's so popular.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know why. I like it.
Maybe I don't think has Netflix done a good job promoting it. I feel like they haven't.
They haven't because I didn't know about it until you guys told me. So I've never heard Bill Burr talk about it on his interviews either. I don't know if he's done a good job of promoting it because he has comedy specials too to promote, right? So it's good. There's still one more season for sure, and then that's it. So it's gonna be a 5-season run. The other thing I started watching The Right Stuff on Disney Plus, which is an astronaut.
Lord!
Yeah, the first class of astronauts, the first ever astronauts in the Mercury program. So it just follows them.
Is that under the Discovery wing of Disney Plus?
Yeah, it's in the nerd side.
Yeah, the nerd side.
It's in the nerd category. Mandalorian 2 comes out this weekend. Okay, so we will be talking about some of those.
We will.
Yeah, you gonna watch it or no?
No, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not into the Star Wars stuff.
Just watch Mandalorian. You don't need to be into it. I think you'll like it. Pedro Pascal's in it. Are you gonna disrespect Pedro Pascal? Wow. Wow, that's disrespectful.
I might get to it.
Mandalorian's good. You don't even have to. I'm telling you, you don't have to watch Star Wars.
I mean, that's what I hear, but it wouldn't feel right for me to watch it without watching all the Star Wars movies.
It's like being a Lakers fan. Just jump in now. Like, oh, I love LeBron. I love the Lakers. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about, you haven't watched it yet, so I just want to mention it. Dave Chappelle on David Letterman's My Next Guest. Man, it is so good. Anything with Chappelle, obviously what he did in the specials that he's put out with Netflix, they've been brilliant. I mean, just absolutely brilliant. What he did after George Floyd's murder was some of the best, like most needed content that was released at the perfect time, right? Like it just helped a lot of people express their feelings about what was happening, understand different points of views, and then his wisdom just helped all of us understand what was happening more than anything. This is an hour of that, okay? He sits down with David Letterman, and some of the nuggets that Dave Chappelle drops, like when he's not trying to be funny, man, he is one of the wisest people I've ever seen or heard talk. Okay, it's just so good. The information that he's giving you about life, about things that are happening in the world, about his community, his sense of parenting. Man, it's just brilliant. He is the wisest man. I can't think of a more wise person. It just happens to be he's the greatest stand-up comedian ever. So you guys have to watch it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna leave it just like happy.
So it's an hour long. I need to watch that Letterman show. He gets really good interviews, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's like the biggest names. Robert Downey Jr. is on the new season. Lizzo's on the new season, and Kim Kardashian's on the new season.
Okay.
I started the Robert Downey one, and then when Robert Downey Jr. came out, and he's like 5 inches shorter than David Letterman, I was like, this isn't good anymore.
What?
Yeah.
You're height shaming. You're short, man.
I'm the same height as him. He's 5'9". I'm 5'10", right?
No, you're not 5'10".
I'm 5'10", man.
No, you're not.
5'9". Okay, I'm 5'9".
5'8.5".
No, I'm not 5'8.5". I'm 5'9.5" more than 5'8.5".
No.
Yeah, for sure. You're 5'6".
Yeah, and you're like an inch taller than me.
No, I'm not an inch taller. I'm way taller than you.
No, way taller?
Yeah, way taller.
Get out of here.
Man, I'm like a whole Borat's penis taller than you. But when he walked out, I'm like, man, hold on. You're not Iron Man anymore. This sucks. This isn't as cool anymore.
That destroyed the mystique for you.
Yeah, and like his clothes are ill fitting. He's just trying so hard. But he's also, how old is Robert Downey Jr.? Like 55?
God,
he's old, right? He's not.
Did it withdraw all the tears you shed when Iron Man died? Once you realize how short he is?
He's 55 years old. He's a senior citizen almost. So it was kind of, and then he said like one thing, and I was like, I'm out. It's not cool anymore. Especially after Chappelle's, you're like, it's whatever. So yeah, watch that and let me know what you think, man. Right. I loved it, man. I'm gonna go back and watch it again because there's just so much in there in terms of like things you can apply to your life. Man, it was just beautiful. And
are you gonna make Baby Trickster watch it with you?
No, not yet. The other thing, Kanye West on Joe Rogan Experience.
Tell me about your letdown.
It was just all over the map.
Why did you expect anything different? Is my question.
Because Joe Rogan's really good at dialing in on interviews, and usually, like, when he brings a guest on, they will go all over the map. But when they're on a particular subject, he doesn't let them go away from it. Like, if you say something, he's going to figure out why you said it. He's really good at that. This one, though, it almost felt like he was fanboying as well. Like, look, Joe Rogan is very powerful, right, in terms of what he does. And then there's Kanye, who's like one of the most famous people on this planet. It's next level. And he's had big guests on, right? He's had Robert Downey Jr. He's had, name that guest. They've been on. But Kanye is different. And then when Kanye goes on a rant or a riff, as he called it, the whole interview, you can't stop him because you're afraid he's going to get offended by it as well. And then like you lose one of the biggest guests you've ever gotten, right? So it just felt weird because anytime Kanye would say, he did talk about the music industry, which I think you'll find really interesting. He talked about the contracts. He talked about how the artists get screwed in this. And he talked about the Yeezy line, what he's trying to do with it in terms of manufacturing, all that stuff. That was interesting. And then he would just go off on crap. And you're just like, what, Kanye? Hold on. Back up a little bit, man. Back up. They just never it was just too much. It was too much, in my opinion.
Could you find me some timestamps so I don't have to listen through the whole thing?
No chance I'm finding timestamps. I don't do timestamps for this podcast.
That's fair then.
Yeah. The one I will recommend, if you just want like good content, life information, the Matthew McConaughey interview, it's like 2 episodes before, promoting his new book, Greenlight. That was good. They stick on one, like they talk about one topic. They really go deep into each thing. They talk about parenting, how he was raised, how he's raising his kids, the challenges in the industry, all this. That interview was fantastic. The Kanye one was just too much. It was too much. It was all over the map. So, yeah, that's my review of it. But listen to it if you like Kanye. I still have like 40 minutes left of it.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, it's a lot. Nabil says, what's the greatest Joe Rogan episode of all time? There's one in like 2012, 13, where he talks about his first, he had a guest on who talked about his ayahuasca trip. I thought that was one of the best episodes ever.
What the hell is that?
So ayahuasca is this herbal tea that's in the Amazon that the tribal people, the Amazon drink, and it just sends you on this psychedelic trip. It is ridiculous. Like the way he described it, man, I was like, whoa, this is nuts. That was one of my favorite episodes of all time. And then he's had every single guest on. Like you name it, they've been on Joe Rogan Experience. So
the Edward Snowden episode I was going to actually listen to, and it was like 3 hours long, so I was out.
Yeah. Start with episode 1 and then go to episode 2.
I'm good.
That's 6 hours of your life.
I'm good.
Man, the episode 1 is worth it in my opinion. It was good. So episode 2, you're like, okay, now the world is gonna end. Sammy says, could you imagine New York getting destroyed on essentially Isaiah Thomas pulls up in a high-tech suit to save the city? I would be floored. Talking about Robert Downey Jr.'s height.
Yes, man.
What's Isaiah Thomas doing? Okay, we are done, man. Anything else that you want to talk about that we missed?
I think we're good, man. We hit on everything. Very nice.
Wow. Very nice. Okay, Jose, thank you so much, buddy. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Raheel Show podcast with Jose Partida. Make sure you go to alamoremedy.com and use promo code UNICORN.
Unicorn.
Unicorn. It's going to help you with obviously getting CBD, and it's going to help you feel better. Whatever it is, man, try it out. Give CBD a try with anxiety, with inflammation. It just mellows you out a little bit if you want that at the end of the night. Give it a try. I love it. No guarantees though, because that would be making a health statement and then I get sued. But I'm just telling you what it's done for me. So check them out, man. AlamoRemedy.com. Use promo code Unicorn. We will talk to you next Monday. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Stay spicy.